So, Catherine, how do we go about what are some techniques for us to specifically hone our leadership skills as sales pros?
So there's a couple of ways that we can do that. One is to attend leadership conferences and to make a commitment to that. And I don't mean sales conferences, I mean specifically leadership conferences. You would be amazed if you're working for a large company, for example, or even a small company, you'd be amazed at how your management team will sponsor and support you if you bring to them an opportunity for you to take time out, whether it's a day or 2 days, to attend a leadership conference to hone and improve your leadership skills. Typically, they will endorse you, they will pay for it, they will send you. Oftentimes, this is a great thing that you can add into your professional development plan. So, number one is attend leadership conferences. Go to where leadership is being taught.
Okay.
Secondly, is to read books on leadership.
Do you have any
And
recommendations?
I I love John Maxwell. I think
Okay. Yeah.
he's fabulous. He has a book called The 360 Leader, and a notion behind that is it's almost like when you drop a pebble into the water and you see the rings come out from that pebble. And each one of us, no matter where we are in an organization or in life, have an effect on the people around us,
Hmm.
whether it's peers, whether it's the people that we report to, whether it's subordinates, people that support us. We leave an indelible mark on everyone around us. And so if we start to think of ourselves as a leader, we realize that we're really leading everyone.
Okay.
And we're learning from everyone as well.
Okay. So I was curious. I'm glad you brought up John Maxwell. He also has some great online courses that people can take, and he is very focused on the more personal leadership. I was curious if you can help our listeners. What specifically should they look for in shopping for the right conference or book?
Marcus Buckingham is another one. He's out of the UK,
Hmm.
and he talks a lot about strengths and really understanding what our individual strengths are. There are assessments you can take. One of my favorite is Strength Finder 2.0. There's by Tom Rath. The book itself is probably $15, and in the back of it is an online assessment you can take. There's a code in each book, so don't buy a used. But you can take an online assessment and kind of figure out what your strengths are. Marcus Buckingham is doing new research and new studies on why certain people perform better in certain environments. So I think part of being a great leader and being great in our craft, our profession, is having a lot of self-awareness about our strengths and weaknesses, and also learning how to leverage other people's strengths when we know that we need to balance out where we're weak, particularly when it comes to a negotiation or closing a deal.
Okay. So it sounds like certainly we're using our knowledge of ourselves, our self-awareness in helping build our internal team that we support clients.
Yes.
Curious, because we're talking individual leadership for a sales
Hmm.
professional, in
Right.
really being viewed as a leader from the client. And so,
Right.
how can they leverage their learning from the books and the conferences and self assessments? So, it really is building their reputation as a leader and also helping them work more effectively with their clients.
So leadership is it's almost like strengthening your body, and you have to build upon your knowledge and your skills. And so that's why what I'm suggesting is that we all take time out every year. We dedicate a certain number of days to leadership conferences. We set goals for, how many books we're going to read in that particular year. So we've got to continue this discipline of
Okay.
developing our leadership. Now, here's an interesting test. In addition to our sales role within our organizations, here's a test outside of our profession to determine our leadership mettle. and how strong that is. Go try leading a volunteer initiative.
Hmm.
If you look behind you and no one's following you, you know that there may be things you need to work on. So having doing something as a volunteer, serving on a board of directors, getting involved in nonprofit organizations. I know this sounds overwhelming because it's a lot. We're all burdened with a lot, and there's a lot of pressure. But I will tell you that your life will be enriched by what you can contribute to nonprofit organizations, organizations that you care about, and what happens is as you engage with your clients, you become much more interesting and dynamic to them
Hmm.
because they see that you're doing much more than the day in and day out job.
Yeah, you become a three-dimensional person, I call it.
Exactly. And they're inspired by that. And I can't tell you, Mary, how often I've gone out to, had lunch meetings or sort of that time as you're walking from point A to point B and you're trying to establish that relationship with a client,
Mhm.
that the conversation ends up going to talking about the Boys and Girls Club or volunteer work in classrooms or whatever it is that happens to be going on at that time. And being able to share that with somebody is, I mean, it just changes everything.
Mhm.
And but it has to be authentic,
Mhm.
clearly.
So, Catherine, as this our sales professionals who are listening are honing their leadership skills and maybe putting down some of the sales education books and picking up leadership books instead, how will they recognize it's making a difference in their client relationships?
I would say that they're going to start to build a new level of confidence in themselves. They're also going to be able to be much better at discerning what to do in certain circumstances because every situation is thrown at us. We have we have to manage our internal teams. There may be product or service issues. There may be billing issues.
Yeah.
We've got a lot. We're the ambassadors. We're carrying the brand flame for our organizations. We're ambassadors for the good and the bad because in every organization there are things that happen and we have to be the person to go have that conversation with the client. So
Hmm.
in addition to the weight, the mantle of everything going on within our organizations, we also then have to deal with what's happening in our client organizations, politics, et cetera. Everyone's been there. So being able to really discern what the next steps should be and how to sometimes rise above the fray and make clear and concise decisions without getting caught up in the emotion too much and also not getting caught up in, oh my gosh, if this deal doesn't happen. I realize that we're under pressure to close business, but I can also tell you that if we're not doing the right thing for the client, they're going to know it and the trust will go. And at the end of the day, if you put your client first, everyone wins
Hmm.
because in the end, we only have our reputations. That's with us always and forever.
Exactly. Yeah. Past this month end or end of quarter, we're relying on those relationships lasting long.
Exactly. Because the logos change, as we say in the industry, everyone takes a step to the left. Over the years, you find that the logos have shifted, and but we are who we are, and that's how we're remembered, and that's how we will succeed in
Right.
our careers.
So, Catherine, I know you also have a passion for building sales education at the university level, and you were actually founder for a sales center of excellence at a university. I'm curious, what would you recommend for our listeners in terms of how they can participate, how they can get involved, and use that as a leadership development experience for themselves?
So, in every region of the country, there are universities and community colleges that are launching sales programs. Some are further along than others, and some are, early trailblazers. But this is a very hot area right now. And I can tell you that spending 6 years as an adjunct professor on a university campus at night after work was one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. I had so much fun. It was hard work, but I had such a great time teaching students, leading students, launching a competition. And so, what I want to encourage, first of all, I want to put this on everyone's radar because not only can you get involved individually, but your organizations can get involved for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a great place to recruit.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's a great place to find interns to come into your organization. It's a win-win. They get experience. You get to see how they work in your organization to see if they would be a good fit. And then finally, oftentimes they'll have a competition where the one that we put together and the one that I participated in at MIT, we were all the judges. We were judges. We're given a case study. The sales reps, if you will, i.e. business students, were given a different version of the case study. And then it was a timed call in a office. It was so much fun. And then, of course, you would rate and rank the individuals and provide them feedback. And there would, of course, be winners, and they would get checks. And it was a lot of fun. So to the individuals that may be watching this right now, see if you can track down your local college or university, introduce yourself to the department chairs, to the professors that may be running these programs, make yourself available perhaps as a guest speaker, as a judge for a competition, and start to develop a relationship, because this is a way that you can also give back, you can mentor, and it really forces all of us to sharpen our own swords, because we have to go in there and speak in front of others about what we do day in and day out.
Well, and the judging process in and of itself sharpens your own game, because you're looking, I mean, how often does a sales rep get a true assessment of what they did? And these students are getting it, but by giving it and comparing the students' performances, you're really thinking about what makes sales excellence in the process.
Exactly. And you'll see them step on all the land mines you've stepped on. And then you can, of course, share your war stories, because we all have them.
Right.
And they love it. It's really a lot of fun. So this is the new hot area. A lot of graduate schools, business schools are starting to offer these programs at the graduate level, and actually starting to form clubs. The Ivy Leagues have sales clubs now. And then at the undergraduate level, they're springing up all over America. And the Sales Education Foundation is a nonprofit organization that is working with colleges and universities to help them establish better programs, best practices, and they are wonderful people that you can also reach out to.
Okay. Yeah, Sales Education Foundation. We can put that in the show notes so people know to access that and possibly use that as a resource then to find a local university they might want to volunteer with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
What
It's
an
a lot of
excellent way
fun.
to give back. I love that. Good. Well, Catherine, one of my top 5 strengths in my Strength Finders is being a connector. So I'm thrilled to be able to connect our audience with you today and really put on our radar that we need to show up as leaders with our clients, and really how we can hone our own leadership abilities so that we continue to excel in that area as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And good luck to everyone out there. Good luck. Great selling, and go get them.
Fabulous. Take care.
Sales Mastery is your resource to make it easy to accelerate your sales learning. Make sure to connect. Find out about new interviews first by subscribing to our YouTube channel right here. And get more resources to help you master selling by clicking here. I wish you the best of success.